then you mentioned, obviously, following on from John deciding to take a break from the music business, that you decided you were going to put your efforts into serving loads of different people and becoming the best session drummer out there. And you wouldn't commit to just one person again; it would be all the different people. And it was Don wasn't it, that really helped you get your way into that kind of way of working?
Yes, I was working with Don. He called me up and asked me if I could do a Bob Dylan record, and then Bob was on tour, so I'm like freaking out. Are you kidding me? But then Bob couldn't do it because he was on tour for a while. Then he says, "Well, how about Iggy Pop?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, and I'm recording an Iggy Pop record, and Don, he went to the Grammys. I was like so focused on just drums, Iggy Pop, and all of a sudden I walk in one day and I said, "Where's Don?" He said, "Oh, he had to go to the Grammys." We recorded a little bit, and then he went to the Grammys, and he wins 2 Grammys, one for "Nick of Time" with Bonnie Raitt, which was her comeback record, and then he won "Love Shack" for the B-52s. He produced that, and all of a sudden Don's got 2 Grammys. There's our guy, barefoot, glasses, and he comes back, and next thing you know, he said, "Hey, you want to record a Bob Seger record?" "Yeah." "Hey, you want to record Elton John 4 songs?" "Yeah." And it went on and on and on. And all of a sudden, Don blew up, and I was right there with him. The Highwaymen, which is Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings. Movie soundtracks. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And B.B. King and Bonnie Raitt at the same time doing a song for Air America. I mean, it was unbelievable. And, so all of a sudden, my cred went up outside of John Mellencamp, and I suddenly realized I had 2 careers. And there's where the conflict came in, because I was on a very small retainer. I took myself off retainer with the idea that if he calls, I'm not on retainer anymore. And he did call. I was doing a Little Feat record. The Little Feat band, Richie Haywood, the incredible drummer who was playing with Eric Clapton, they got me to play with them, and we were backing up like the Madonna of Sweden. She was a megastar, stadium. So we did that record, and I get a call that, from John's right-hand man said, "John needs you this Thursday." I said, "I can't. I'm working 2 weeks with Little Feat." He says, John says, "Well, look, you can do that stuff, but when I need you, I need you." I totally get it. But I said, "John, they moved their entire schedule to accommodate me. And they built this whole session around me. I can't leave."
Yeah.
And so I get it. I mean, John wanted a drummer that was accessible 24/7. And I was becoming that guy that was not accessible 24/7. And eventually, we just parted ways.
Yeah, indeed. And you mentioned some of the incredible names that you worked with, and I think I either saw the interview or I read the interview, and you were working with the Highwaymen, and was it Meatloaf pretty much at the same time? And it just shows the diversity of music that you were playing, all out rock with Meatloaf and the over the top stuff, and then you've got the Highwaymen there as well at the same time. It's just incredible.
Well, add the Buddy Rich Big Band. I took the red eye to fly to New York to perform with the Buddy Rich Big Band on the weekend, and then fly back and continue Meatloaf and the Highwaymen. But the greatest one was when I recorded with the Buddy Rich Big Band, Burning for Buddy CDs. I had spent 1 week in Philadelphia recording with Cinderella.
Oh, wow.
Then I went to Nashville and recorded 1 week with Hank Jr. Then I flew to New Orleans and recorded some I don't even know who it was, New Orleans type of thing. Then I went to Canada, spent a week recording a country record with a girl, Patricia Conway, I believe. And then I flew to New York and recorded with the Buddy Rich Big Band. I mean, it's let me explain that. You've scored a touchdown when you practice your butt off and you get in a band and it's selling out arenas and you're all over the radio and MTV and you're on tour and you're in your private jet. You score a touchdown if you become a big session drummer in any one of the big markets, which was back then New York, Nashville, LA. But I was doing both. And there was a few of us doing the same thing. Steve Lukather, for example, He was doing the same thing, both. Session guy, Toto, solo record, solo career. But, then it gets deeper, because then when you start being the person they want you around, because you motivate the room, you save sessions, your contribution as a person,
Mhm.
your personality.
Yeah.
You know how to connect with people. You know how to communicate with people. You know how to collaborate. That now becomes a whole nother thing. Now you're really becoming there's a handful of people who do all of that. So I mean, I didn't have this master plan, but as I look back, I think my intuition was exactly what I did, and now I realize why that worked and how that happened.
Sounds incredible. I mean, I remember Leland Sklar saying that sometimes he kind of wished that he was part of a band, and he was like almost like Flea, where he had one band and he traveled and he only had to learn those songs rather than everybody else's songs and that sort of thing. I mean, he's had an incredible career, same as you. But do you sometimes wish that you were part of a band in that way, that you didn't have to float between everything, or would you not have got the kind of buzz that you got from doing what you did with so many different people and so many different genres and styles and places like that?
Oh, I definitely think I like playing with everybody. You know, even when I was in the Mellencamp band, as big as we were, when I started recording with like Brian Setzer or Belinda Carlisle, you know, we did Heaven on Earth, her first #1 hit single
Yeah.
outside of the Go-Go's. I mean, that was such a rush. Or Bob Seger, or, you know, going on tour with, you know, the Smashing Pumpkins, recording with John Fogerty, you know, I mean, oh man, or Joe Cocker. I mean, this is like incredible. So yeah, I want both. I wanted both, you know. I mean, I interviewed Lee on my, you know, podcast, the Kenny Aronoff Sessions, and Lukather, and my intros were like these long discographies. I wanted people to hear who these people play with. You know, I was doing Lee Sklar, and I'm naming name after name after name after name after name, and I get to James Taylor, I got 14 albums. I said to the people viewing, I said, you have to understand, when somebody asks you to play on 14 records, it's not just how good a player you are.
Yes.
It's that they want you there because of who you are, your personality. It's not just about how good you play. There's all this other stuff. So I like playing with lots of different people because it's stimulating. It makes me feel good mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So, yeah. I don't know if Lee would have been happy with just one band. Sure, I'd love to have been in Led Zeppelin, yeah. But I think I still would have always wanted to do other things.
Yeah.
It's just the way I'm wired.